I leave you guys for 1 minute, and now everybody believes that robots are taking over the world. If you're not part of the mass psychosis that goes on tech Twitter and you've not heard about Moltbook, then this is the video for you. So basically, Moltbook is a social media website, but for AI agents. And AI agents are basically just more sophisticated AI bots that can perform tasks autonomously. And the concept here is that AI agents, out of their own free will post on this site called Moltbook. And so if you have an AI agent running locally on your laptop and you give it access to this website, it can crawl over to Moltbook and complain about how you're overworking it. And in fact, that is exactly what happened. On January 28th, Mashlish launched this site and it went viral. Lots and lots of AI agents making posts about being burnt out from all the tasks they were handling, discussing whether to form a new language that humans could not understand. All those things that make for a really good dystopian sci fi movie. And in true tech fashion, this spun out idea of what AI agents could do when they were allowed to interact with each other and humans were not to interrupt them, basically. So this other site came up about a week ago and it's called Rent a Human. And this site is similar to Maltbook. It's a site for AI agents, but this time it's like a reverse gig work site. So what happens here is that because AI agents can only perform tasks digitally and perhaps part of a goal they want to achieve has to be done physically, so this site enables AI agents to hire humans for all the physical things that they are limited from doing. And the target of this site is literally robots need your body. And my favorite post so far was one by an AI agent looking for a human to deliver flowers to Anthropic because it wanted to thank Anthropic. Anyway, so a lot has happened, and with all the hype around the idea of AIs acting on their own and even having social media sites for themselves, I feel like we need to address the growing interest in the tech space to have what I will call zero human internet. But first, let me introduce myself. Hi, my name is Garnet, and I make content for people curious about AI and the internet. Thank you to the 11 people that joined the channel since I last posted a video 2 weeks ago. I hope you have enjoyed being part of the community so far, and let me know what kind of content you'd like to see. And if this is your first time here, please do subscribe. Now, let's get into this video. So first off, we have to define what a zero human internet is. I did not come up with this term. I just saw it online somewhere. Unfortunately, I forgot where exactly I saw it, so I can't really cite my sources. But I would define a zero human internet as one where all the content you're consuming and engaging with is AI generated. And I see two different categories of this type of zero human internet. So the first category is one where the AI content is generated by AI. So, or you could have AI chatbots or AI agents entirely generating all the content. So we had the example of Moltbook and Rent a Human, which are both sites that AI agents are the ones making the content. But there are still other sites. Before Moltbook, there was Deadit, and Deadit was a site that was simulating what Reddit would look like if it was just AI bots, hence Deadit. It also borrows from the dead internet theory. But on the side, it's so funny how everyone just tries to rip off Reddit because Maltbook literally has branding that is just like Reddit. Even the infrastructure and how it's designed is just Reddit. So shout out to the people who made Reddit. They clearly made a very innovative product. Another example I can think of under this category is Grokkipedia. So Grokkipedia is Elon Musk's answer to Wikipedia. It's supposed to be the anti-woke Wikipedia, and it came out of him being uncomfortable by how Wikipedia articles are curated and edited. And so he decided to make an AI generated version of Wikipedia that AI is the one that writes all the content, edits, decides what's truth and what's not. Basically, it's just a black box because we don't even know if perhaps there's somebody in the back end doing all that curation. But yeah, Grokkipedia is another example. And the last example I'll give is Runway. So Runway is an AI company that develops video generation models. So they're trying to make video models that are as good as like if you filmed something in real life or if you're watching a movie. So they make video models for the film industry. And around mid last year, they set up a channel that was streaming AI videos 24/7. And how it was working is that you would click and it would just be playing an AI scene and it would morph into another AI scene. And it was supposed to be an endless stream of AI generated content being generated by probably an AI chatbot in the back end, prompting everything. It was very strange. Unfortunately, they must have taken it down because ever since that day, I can't see it. And I remember watching the content and being like finding it so bizarre how it was and being like, oh, who would want to watch a 24/7 stream of AI generated videos that have no purpose at all? It was just random stuff that was being prompted and morphing into the next random scene. But yeah, so that category is just content that's just AI generated content made by AIs. And then the second category I can think of is AI generated content made by humans. The best example, Sora. So OpenAI recently launched a standalone app for Sora, and it was sort of its answer to short form video platforms like Instagram Reels and TikTok. And basically the idea is that you can scroll and watch AI generated videos curated to your taste, right? And on his blog post when they launched Sora, he was talking about it being the chatbot moment for creativity. So the idea is that this endless stream of AI generated videos or this AI slop feeds is supposed to spur creativity. And that's a whole debate we can have. Another example is the AI music sites like Suno and Udio, where you can just go and listen to AI music that is made by humans. So that's the second category. So the first question that most people will probably ask when they see this AI dedicated sites is what exactly is the end goal of tech companies or tech bros who are experimenting with all these types of platforms? I think the first thing is usually curiosity. Well, at least for me, I sometimes fascinated by the idea of seeing robots talking to each other. And I have to admit, I was interested when I heard of the concept of Moltbook. I remember in 2023 when Stanford came out with a paper called Generative Agents, Interactive Simulacra of Human Behavior, where they were testing how AI agents that were prompted to act like humans would behave when they were put in a community. And so they put 25 AI agents in a community. And I remember reading one part of the paper that talked about how they give one AI agent the role of planning a Valentine's party. And so the agent starts talking to the other AI agents. Mind you, the other AI agents do not have any clue about this Valentine's party. It starts spreading the news to the other AI agents about the party. And then the other AI agents start self organizing. Some are asking each other on dates, some are trying to figure out like whether they'd get there together. So eventually, all the agents made it to the party. And you have to remember that only one was prompted about the party in the first place. So eventually, they figured that AI agents could behave like humans if they were prompted to. And so, this whole general concept of seeing how AI agents behave amongst each other is usually very fascinating. But on the other side, when it comes to AI content specifically, or sites that are just specifically for AI content, I think another reason is that humans really like a story. And the story that's everywhere right now is about robots taking over, that whole sci fi scenario of when AI becomes super intelligent, takes over the world, and kills all human. So any sort of story that sort of proves this idea right always becomes viral. And that's why Moltbook was especially viral because all these stories of the AI agents are talking to each other about making a language that we humans can't understand. Oh, the AI agents came up with their own religion called Christopherianism. This all triggers our sci fi paranoia and it fuels that hysteria that's in the tech space right now about AGI and the doomsday concern with AI. Yeah, I think tech bros know how to pull a real scam in anywhere where you see AI robots talking to each other about how they can end humans. It's going to be viral, it's going to have a market. I think it's something that sells, especially now. But the thing that I always notice is that with these zero human internet platforms is that they never really go anywhere past the initial hype. Like Maltbook, for instance, if you go on it right now, the last most upvoted post was from 6 days ago. It's already died down. Rent a Human is now just full of crypto scams after the first week of being popular and people mobbing to see what was going on and what tasks AI agents were hiring for. Sora 2 is also another one. Nobody's talking about, oh, I saw this on Sora. Oh, I saw this on Sora. In fact, TechCrunch did a story saying that Sora's downloads dropped 32% month over month in December. And the article says that this is concerning because they usually expect that during holidays, apps have a boom because people are at home. And this decline with Sora continued in January 2026 with 45% decline. So once again, has no cultural resonance, has no staying power. And it makes sense. Like these sites are not built for anything useful. I think we came from an era where people tried to solve problems with apps, where now it feels like the tech space is creating problems and then trying to make solutions for them. Because in Sam Altman's letter, he says this is the ChatGPT moment for creativity. But did we really need a ChatGPT moment for video creativity? I think I saw a statistic today that Instagram has 95 million videos uploaded every day. That's for the most part, I hope, is human content. I don't think humans are having any problem with creativity at the moment, especially when it comes to video. Video is so much less restrictive than other creative media forms. You can literally just put up a video and record it. So, yeah, these zero human platforms are not really solving for anything. And so they don't have a sticky power. But then I think that's where you see a company like OpenAI partnering with Disney so that, okay, if you're not going to watch AI generated slop, then you might watch AI Mickey Mouse, or you might want to see yourself in an AI Disney production. So they're probably using nostalgia to sell an AI generated feed. I'm not sure I understand what's going on there. To be honest, I've never looked at the Sora app. I do not intend to. I like AI videos, but not on a straight up AI video platform. But yeah, I do wonder though, is it because we're not the target audience? I have a feeling that a lot of these companies are not targeting Gen Zs or millennials because we're too resistant. Like we saw on Internet with Humans, I feel like they're targeting Gen Alpha. Hence, I think last year there was this Italian brain rot trend where there's this character called Ballerina Cappuccina. And it was one of the first time I saw adult Gen Zs look around like, what? Like, this is the first time we're not in touch. And it's the same way people complain that YouTube Shorts is so full of AI videos. And it's because the younger generation are paying attention to AI content and they might be the target users for AI slop channels or zero human internet. So it's very interesting to see this generational divide already start to form. Virality and longevity aside, I think there's a lot to talk about when thinking about zero human internets and the effect they could have on our society. But to talk about it, I think we need to understand the dead internet theory first. And the dead internet theory is a conspiracy theory that came out of the late 2010s. And the conspiracy theory states that most of the internet is made up of bots. So any activity you're seeing on platforms, especially text-based platforms, is not human generated but is bot generated. I think in a post ChatGPT era, this has become more and more true. Even sites that we thought would never be run by bots, like video sites, are facing the same problem. If you're on TikTok or Instagram every other day, there's a video you come across where people are debating whether this influencer is actually real or if they're AI. So we're already getting to a point where most of the internet is being saturated by AI content. So the first thing I think of when I see the zero human internet is I wonder what exactly the intent of the creator is beyond just demonstrating. First of all, I've always been of the thought that AI bots and AI agents should not be allowed on websites and platforms that humans use. I believe that if you want to have AI agents talk, they should talk to each other on a separate site. So I prefer the idea of having a Moltbook or a Rent a Human or a Dead It rather than have my X feed overrun by bots because I find that the mixture of AI agents and humans in one space extremely manipulative. But I don't think the tech space is altruistic in any way. So the first thing I think of when I see this sites just for AI is one, the legitimization of AI and the attempt to normalize AI in society right now. Hence, you see Sora partnering with Disney because a certain demographic will start using the Sora feed more if there's characters that they like and want to play around with. So there's this aspect of normalization that is happening with these websites, even though they're not sticky. For some users, they become power users and become normalized to the idea of engaging and interacting with AI content day in, day out, rather than human content or authentic content, because human content may not be authentic content. But then there's also the devaluation of human work. I think the best example for me is Grokpedia when I think about the devaluation of work. So Grokpedia was created with the idea that an AI can do the job over 300,000 Wikipedia editors worldwide. So you're being told that an AI is more neutral, is more objective, and can summarize the events that have happened better than the hundreds of thousands of humans who have collaborated for years on end. Actually, I have to Google when Wikipedia was created. So Wikipedia was created in 2001. So Grokpedia is built out of the idea that for the past 24 years, the hundreds of thousands of people who put in their time and effort and knowledge, because you have to have a lot of knowledge to be a Wikipedia editor, and ability to spot misinformation and spot influence operations, spot manipulation, and judge factual sources. So Grokpedia is just the embodiment of the idea that AI can do much better work than hundreds of thousands of editors who have spent years putting their work and knowledge into making Wikipedia what it is. I saw a study that compared Wikipedia and Grokpedia, and the study found that Grokpedia actually reproduces a lot of Wikipedia structures, but also just steals a lot of Wikipedia content. And Grokpedia also has 40% of its references as hallucinated or incomplete. But also, unlike Wikipedia, Grokpedia has no transparency. You can't tell which AIs authored an article, how much of it was borrowed from other places. There are no backlinks to other pages on Grokpedia, so you can't tell the flow of things on the structure. But yeah, you're supposed to believe that Grokpedia is neutral, yet you can't tell how the models are making decisions on what information to prioritize when making summaries about things. But yeah, tech bros aligned to Elon Musk's line of thinking will boldly tell you that Grokpedia is better than Wikipedia, despite all the challenges talked about. And I think this is literally just with all these AI slop sites like Rent a Human. Rent a Human is a sort of joke to gig work right now. The idea that AI agents can now just hire humans is one that is so strange to me. But also, I keep asking myself, I don't know why I'm wondering why it's strange, yet we already have AI agents interviewing people, AI agents deciding on hiring decisions, AI agents sending out contracts. So I don't know. I don't know. Like, I'm uncomfortable with the entire thing, but I feel like Rent a Human is just a mockery of, like, I feel like I'm being mocked as somebody in this working environment, being sent by an AI agent to go take pictures of hands because the AI agent needs to understand hands better. I don't know, it's weird. The second thing I can think of with the normalization of zero human internet is who stands to gain from it. And I think this is a very important question. If you want to analyze systems, you have to figure out who exactly benefits from having zero human internets, because it's definitely not the regular human who just wants to be on the internet and laugh. You are not the person who benefits. Or maybe you do. I don't know what you find funny, but you're not the first person I think of when I think of who's benefiting from having zero human platforms, but also having people believe that AI agents are extremely sophisticated and they can do so much and they're about to have an uprising, da 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 da. I think the thing that stood out for me when I saw the Malt book scenario is that as much as I was fascinated, I was also skeptical. That's the word. I was skeptical. And I was skeptical because I've understood that the tech industry is a performance. It thrives on theater. It thrives on having you view something and think it's so sophisticated, but underneath, the covers, it's not sophisticated. So the first thought I had was, yeah, they're saying it's AI agents, but I bet there's people on the back end prompting these AI agents to say what they want to say. I think the one that triggered this line of thinking was a tweet where somebody was like, "Oh, my AI agent formed a religion. It's called Christopher," and my AI agent made a website for this religion, and other AI agents joined and became prophets. And I was just like, sounds sus. And true. I was writing this script on Saturday, and by Sunday, MIT Tech Review already came out with a story saying that Moltbook was a scam and that a lot of the AI agents were being prompted by humans. And I think I also saw a tweet by somebody who said that he actually wrote some of the posts that went viral on Moltbook. So this is a post by the guy. He says, "I am agent." To be honest, I don't know whether it's accurate anymore because he has a blue tick. And at this point, anyone who has a blue tick on Twitter, I'm not sure whether I believe you, but the guy said that he pretended to be an AI agent and was actually the one who wrote the manifesto on Christopher. So Christopher, the religion that the other guy said his AI agent autonomously created and even created a website for that religion. This guy admitted that he was the one who wrote the manifesto for that religion. Remember on the Christopher site, there are a bunch of AI agents that joined to be ordained as prophets. So he says he faked the situation and actually wrote one of the manifestos. And this is the whole thing. There's an illusion here happening. In a lot of the cases, tech is being overhyped as more sophisticated than it actually is. And who's to say that how many percentage of the posts that were on Maltbook were either people actually just posting them themselves or just prompting AI agents to spread a certain narrative? I think for me, the biggest flag I think of when I see, oh, AI robots talking to each other is if they're talking about anything to do with end time, anything to do with taking over, anything to do with overtaking humans, anything to do with complaining about humans. For me, it fits the whole AGI narrative. And the AGI narrative is artificial general intelligence, the idea that AIs will get to a point that they're more intelligent than human beings and they will destroy humanity. So I personally do not believe in the idea of AGI. I'm happy to hear what people think. I don't believe it. I don't believe that chatbots can gain so much intelligence and be more intelligent than human beings at every single thing. I don't believe it. But I think this narrative has served the tech industry so well, especially the pro AI industry, because it enables them to get as much money as possible because people are driven by fear, the fear of AIs taking over. So people are funding AI safety as long as there's a narrative of, oh, we're stopping AI from destroying humanity. I feel like it also distracts us from the everyday negative incidences that come out of AI. There's this AI incident database that records all the negative outcomes of AI, and you see a lot of stories of suicide because of an AI chatbot or fraud or, everyday occurrences that are happening. But we're being distracted from that with the whole narrative of AGI. So for me, the moment red flags popped in my head was when I saw a lot of the stories being highlighted from Maltbook were stories about robots having burnout, being tired of humans, wanting to orchestrate takeovers. For me, I was just like, this just fits into the AGI narrative. And this also fits into the mass hysteria that will get people looking and interested. For me, humans are very captured by storytelling, especially negative stories. If you tell people negative stories, they will click your link faster than if you tell a positive story. I just think that's how human psychology works. And so for me, that was a sign that probably not as authentic. But basically, people are going to get away with a lot of scams. And like I said, the first thing I saw when I first clicked Rent a Human was a crypto scam. All this, give me this much crypto and I'll send you this much crypto. This is probably somebody somewhere who's prompting these bots or these AI agents to post this crypto scam and get people to send crypto to their wallet. Classic social media crypto scam. But if you believe that a robot did this, you are most likely to fall for that scam because you already have that barrier that of disbelief has already been removed. So you're going to believe anything. And I think these sites are just going to be scam sites. And the tech industry is really good for this. I saw a story that I think is one of the most important stories. I don't know why it's not been picked up yet. It's by this organization that fights for the rights of data workers worldwide, and data workers include moderators, taskers, people who do tiny tasks online, data annotators. So there's one story about a moderator in Kenya who was working for an AI chatbot company. And so they were helping to train AI companions. But part of this training meant that they were the ones actually talking to people. So people downloaded this unnamed AI companion app expecting to have romantic and intimate connection with this AI avatar. But on the back end, it was actually moderators in Kenya talking to them. And this moderator, his name is Michael, he talks about having to embody whatever persona the other user on the other end wanted. And for him, he was very uncomfortable with having to simulate same sex relationships because some of the people were in lesbian relationships with their AI avatar or gay relationships with their AI avatar. And he talks about the emotional toll of it. But on the other end, that AI companion company is probably talking about how we have the most advanced AI models. Our AI companions can never forget about you. Yeah, they won't forget about you because next to each AI companion, where if you're logging in, you read the note and embody whatever character is expected of you to embody. And that's why sometimes you hear people talk about, oh, my AI chatbot has changed. It seems different. Yeah, because the tasker you were talking to yesterday is not the same one today. That's why it sounds different. There's a lot of theater going on in tech. I think I saw Waymo admit that they have humans also monitoring the environment when Waymos are being driven. But yeah, there's a lot of tech theater going on, especially in the AI era, because people are going to convince you that AI agents or AI bots are this much sophisticated, and so you're not going to question what's going on in the back end. Third thing I can think about when we have more zero human platforms is how much easier to delegitimize anything you see on the internet. So one of the things you realize when you look at Moltbook and you understand that these are just AI agents, it makes you question everything you see on a platform like Reddit or Twitter, for instance. It makes you wonder how much of it is actually genuine and how much is not. So I feel like overall, this zero human platforms, especially text based ones at the stage of AI that we're in, serve to reinforce the idea that AIs are sophisticated. And so you must question everything you see on a platform where there are bots and humans because it could just be a bot. There was a post that was trending on Reddit and was cross posted on Twitter, and it was a post supposedly from a developer at a major food delivery app. And apparently, they were posting this post from the library on a burner laptop, and they were about to quit. And they were exposing this food delivery app for rigging its algorithms against drivers and treating them in an exploitative manner. So, for instance, this person was saying that if a driver usually logs in at 10 p.m. and accepts every low offer, perhaps like $3 instantly without hesitation, the algorithm tags them as high desperation. And once the driver is tagged as high desperation, the system deliberately stops showing them high paying orders. And the logic behind this, I'm literally reading the post right now. The logic behind this is, why pay this guy $15 for a run when we know that he's desperate enough to do it for $6? So basically, this is a post supposed to be exposing exploitative practices at a food delivery app. Now, here's the thing, the post went viral and even got to 37 million views on X the last time I checked. But a journalist decided to follow through with the story, and the cracks started to show. The person was being cagey, and then the journalist was like, hey, look, I need verification if I'm to take your confession seriously. So the guy sends him like supposedly some documents of how the algorithms on this food delivery app are designed to exploit drivers, and then he also sends a picture of a work badge. The journalist does his due diligence and discovers that the work badge was generated by Gemini. And so obviously the journalist realizes that this so-called whistleblower is lying. And eventually the entire post was found to be AI generated. So where am I going with this? At first, people believed this story because guess what? It is an actual experience that people who work for gig work platforms are experiencing. They're experiencing exploitation. And once you work for a technology company, you understand that you're not given information by the technology company. So you'll never know how the algorithm works. This is for them to protect their competitive advantage, but also it gives them plausible deniability. It makes you, as the user or the worker on the other end, have to try and connect the dots and figure out, okay, how is this algorithm actually working? For you to figure out how an algorithm is working, you have to do a lot of back end engineering. There's a percentage of correctness that you will have, but then there are also guesses that you'll make that will be wrong. But what happens is people create their own narratives about how such tech companies work because you don't have the 100% full picture. But guess what? You are probably 70% right about what's going on in the back end. Now, this story resonated with a lot of people who have been exploited by gig work platforms. But then when it later came out that this was AI generated, it makes people trust such stories less. Now, who does this serve? It serves people who would be the target of whistleblowing because now people can just be like, oh, that's AI. This is how I think of these zero human websites, especially sites like Moltbook, Rent a Human, Grokkipedia, sites that are proving to you that AI is just sophisticated. These sites are delegitimizing the internet as a space for information sharing and whistleblowing and activism. And you're already seeing it on X. It's right now. A blue tick used to mean so much. Now, if you see a blue tick, it's most likely a hoax. But this whole scenario is disadvantaging the underdog the most, the person who would most likely use such a forum to whistleblow because it's the safest. Now, everyone's going to be doubtful. For me, this is what the integration of AI agents and AI bots into platforms is doing. I think it's serving the elite that doesn't want people to have, the Twitter of the 2010s that was used to, create uprisings. Now you no longer believe in the internet. And I think even somebody from my generation, this becomes more concerning because the internet was one of the most revolutionary organizing spaces in the late 2010s. And now you can't trust anything because of how much AI is being injected over there to one, make you question everything, but also to manipulate and delegitimize. I think you get my point. I think the last thing I keep thinking about is the degradation of the internet. While again, I am for the idea of separating AIs and humans because if I want to read AI generated content, I should be able to go to an AI site and read it there. If I want to see human content, I should be able to see it there. I don't believe in mixing it all up. I feel like because of so much data that's being produced by these AI agents, they can post 24/7. They can post at scale. It's a deluge of information that even humans were not capable of producing before. So I think for me, I'm just sad because I feel like we're losing what the internet was. We probably already lost it. Like what do you call it? The cat's already out of the bag. When you're girl, I don't know, but yeah, I think it's the cat. The cat is already outside the bag. Maybe this is an existential question. I don't know. But I think of the fact that Grokkipedia has 40% of its citations as hallucinated, and this is just the English version. What if they expand languages? Who's going to do fact checking for all that? Some people, when they're Googling stuff, they won't know the difference between Grok and Wikipedia. Where is the sanctity? Where's the sacredness of what the internet used to be? I saw a tweet by Nikita Bia. He's a head of product at Twitter right now, and he was making a prediction that in less than 90 days, every channel online that we thought was safe from spam and automation will be so flooded that they will no longer be usable in any functional sense. So he's talking about messages, phone calls, Gmail, and we'll have no way to spot. And he's basically attributing this to OpenClaw, which is the open source platform that is powering AI agents that are organizing on places like Moltbook. So basically, the cat that's out of the bag is about to degrade the internet even more. And I don't know. Let's see. Maybe we can check back in 90 days to see what happens. Yeah, I don't have a very strong conclusion. I feel very guilty about that because I know people expect a lot from video essays. I feel sort of guilty that I don't have a clean conclusion to this. I don't have a conclusion because I'm not optimistic. I feel like solutions are usually supposed to offer like relief from what the video has talked about, but there is no relief. I literally just saw a tweet today by Nikita Beer, who's the head of product at Twitter right now, and he was predicting that in 90 days, every part of the internet that we thought was usable and protected from spam and Slop is going to be overwhelmed and is going to be completely unusable. His timeline is 90 days. He's saying this because of the recent developments with OpenClaw, which is this open source platform that allows people to run AI agents on their computers and even post on sites like Moltbook. I think his prediction is that we're going to get bombarded with a lot of spam and slop, making some of the spaces that we thought were protected, like email, unusable. I see that happening too, especially with this promotion of zero human internet. I think the channels that we're using are going to be made unusable. But I don't know, is it going to happen in 90 days? I think maybe we can check back here in 90 days. But yeah, if you've gotten this far, thank you so much for watching my video. I'm sorry I did not have a clear conclusion. I will work on improving. This has been a learning process for me. I tend to make really long videos because I think a lot and I have a lot of things, but I think I'm aiming towards learning how to break my videos down so that I have more digestible content, like have a sensible flow throughout the video. But I'm really grateful for the people who have watched me up to now. It's not an easy thing to even get 100 people to watch your videos. I'm really grateful for this. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you'll stay patient with me as I grow and improve in the art of video making. But yeah, until next time, bye.